Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am the Disc Golf Nerd. Today we're going to add another disc to the disc reviews playlist here on the channel, sitting at well over 300 discs, and this time we're taking a look at the Yikun Discs Hou Yi. This is a really fantastic flyer in the Glaze Series plastic. They sent me a box of these to check out various molds in this new plastic when it first hit the market. I was so impressed by the look and the feel, the flight of these particular Hou Yi, that I actually asked them to send me 2 more so we could do a full review here on the channel, and that's what we're taking a look at here now. I did an unboxing when these first showed up, showed them off on my Instagram account as well. They also sent me this one in that same box, and we were able to test it alongside the Hou Yi out there in the field. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this one, and I'm trying to do my best with all the pronunciations, but me and Andy were just calling it the Shigon because this thing just rips down the fairway and it gets out there with a lot of distance. You can see it's got a nice smooth dome to it. It's got a little bit of heartbeat, but not like uncomfortable amount where it gets kind of wonky in the hand. This thing feels really nice in the hand. It'll depress that little dome a little bit when you actually grab it there. And I really like the wide rim feel, and you can really dig in on a power grip on this thing. And Andy was putting some stank on it. It was flying far. It has a nice penetrating fade where it'll kind of push around the corner that little bit when it starts to kind of hook up at the end of the flight and get you that extra chunk of distance that you might not get from other molds. 13.502, I'd probably say those are about spot on. But with it being faster, you know, you can get a more aggressive fade out of it if you want to. This mold right here is an absolute crusher, and one that Andy really liked during testing, so I'm happy to bring some footage and kind of a mini review of this disc alongside the Hou Yi in this review. Beyond that, let's talk about the star of the show here. So it depicts a archer from Chinese mythology, and you can look into the whole story of Hou Yi if you're interested, but the flight numbers are 10, 6, -1, and 2, and I'd say these are pretty spot on for this disc as well. I feel like 10, 6, -1, 2 gives you a good idea of what to expect from the disc, and that's all I'm really looking for out of flight numbers. So this plastic is some of the most beautiful plastic and some of the most beautiful discs I've ever seen on the market. You guys know I've tested and reviewed more brands and different molds from different companies than anybody else pretty much, and I can't think of anything else that looks quite as stunning, beautiful as these. They're kind of like a somewhat translucent, really sparkly, shimmering look to them. This beautiful gold to white fade on these particular ones. They just look super sick, and I was really impressed with the way these looked. And I will just spoil it for you now a little bit. You guys have seen Andy has tested a ridiculous amount of plastic. I don't want to like throw his business out there, I guess, in this video, but I'm going to tell you anyway that this is the first time I can remember that he was actually looking into getting some of these for himself and throwing them after the testing process. Usually he writes off anything that's not Discraft because he's been pure Discraft for a long time. But once we got out and started testing these, he liked them so much that he actually was looking into ordering both of these molds. He'll probably end up with these ones because of how much he liked them. I'm going to probably hook him up. But yeah, that was surprising to me. I knew he'd like this one. You know, it's kind of got all the things that he likes. The plastic is kind of stiff. It's a relatively flat disc, max weight. It's not super fast. You know, he was a big surge thrower for a long time, and I just had a feeling he was going to like these, and but I'm still somewhat surprised at just how much he did like it. So other than the look of the plastic, these are molded very consistent. They're molded very clean. There's no flashing or issues of any kind. All 3 of these Hou Yi flew basically exactly the same from what we could tell out there during testing. It is a little bit of a firmer feel, so if you like a little bit more of a firm plastic that still has a good grip to it, it's not like slippery, but it's not overly flexible at all, and I think that was one of the reasons why I thought Andy would like it, because he likes a more firm plastic. This Lucid Ice Escape here has a little bit more of a gummy, softer feel to it, a little bit more give in the hand, a little more flexibility, so just a data point there. 9, 5, -1, and 2 are the flight numbers for the Escape, so basically similar, just a little bit slower, and I would say that's pretty apt. You know, the rim width of the Hou Yi doesn't really seem like it's that fast, or would be much faster than a 9-speed, but when you actually throw it, you can see it fly through the air that little bit noticeably faster. There it is next to an Escape, always a disc that I've respected and liked, will recommend just about anybody. This particular run has a pretty noticeable dome top on it compared to these Hou Yi. They're quite flat. We also have what I believe is a 10-speed, old school, pre-flight number, Champion Orc. This is one that's in my bag right now that I've been kind of messing around with lately. It's a nice, stable kind of utility driver for me. It's not that overstable, but it's overstable enough that it kind of fills that role for certain things. It's obviously not like a Firebird or whatever, but this particular one's pretty stable. Definitely more overstable than the Hou Yi. Definitely does not fly as far, but I believe it's one of the few 10 speeds that's in my inventory, so I wanted to give you guys a quick look at it next to the old school pre-flight Champion Orc. This one has a similar level of flexibility, but it has that like softer feel. You can almost see it. It's like got like a softer, almost like a suede kind of feel on this old pre-flight Champion plastic. Nice disc though. So all in all, the feel is great. Like we said, they're molded very clean and consistent. The plastic is absolutely gorgeous. Nothing left to do but take a look at the rest of the flight footage and talk about the flight of this disc. So as I said, it was love at first flight for Andy. As soon as he started throwing these, he was gushing about them straight away. And it just continued from there. Like every kind of angle he tried to put them on, they were just flying nice throughout the testing. Very consistent between the three that we had out there in the field. The Shegong was flying excellent as well. Big distance on that one. But that being said, even with the more speed to it, with the kind of glide and the overall flight of the Hou Yi, it was not going that much farther. You know, the Hou Yi was kind of in line or a little bit farther depending on the angles and all that kind of stuff. So it's not a huge difference, but maxed out, I think the Shegong has more of a kind of a max range to it. It'll get out there further if you kind of do everything right compared to the Hou Yi. But what a solid flyer, man. Just a really, really consistent flights and excellent on a lot of different angles. It's one that I have in my bag for a little while. I may kind of carry it again, but you guys know my bag is super squirrely and I'm constantly switching things around. So I'm going to hold on to at least one of these for myself. The rest of them will probably go to Andy, and he may legitimately bag them, which is kind of wild. Again, he's been testing with me for many years now and tons of molds. You know, you've seen him in all the videos if you've been sticking around, if you've kind of dug through the playlist, or if you've been a long-term viewer, you have seen Andy throw a lot of different stuff. Usually he's not even very nice about a lot of the stuff. You know, he'll be honest if he likes something, and he'll be complimentary to stuff that he enjoys testing, but not once has he been like, oh, I should bag that, or like consider that in any way. So it was pretty interesting to come back and crack a beer after testing, and he's online looking at where he can get some of these to try out. So, and some of the other molds that the company has and stuff. So that was quite striking, and I think that's probably one of the nicest compliments I can play to the Hou Yi and these Yikun discs in general that I've tested, is that when people get a chance to test them, they're often surprised at how quality they really are. Every bit as good as companies that have been making discs for many years, if not considerably better than some of those companies that have been around for a long time. So not a whole lot for me to say that the flight footage isn't going to show you. It just is kind of a workhorse flyer in a good distance range where it can get out there. So that is my review on the Yikun Discs Hou Yi. This is probably one of the most beautiful discs I've ever had in the inventory, and it flies almost as good as it looks. That is my review. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again to Yikun Discs for sending me stuff to test and show off here on the channel. I'll be happy to try out more of their plastic in the future. Big shout out to everybody who helps support the channel. Thank you once again to Andy for helping with the video. I love and respect and appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for your continued support. I will talk to you all very soon. Cheers.